Hello. You have to have some exciting as starter. And in the very beginning, I would like to thank Teemu Arina for an excellent summit and very nice theme, reversing aging and expanding health span and human optimal performance. And my specialty is herbs and wild food and wild edible plants, but we have heard excellent presentations from Johanna and Mauri, so I'm going to talk about something that Teemu asked me to do, to represent an old man and to break some myths about aging. So I said, okay, and he added, and also to have this view to tie your boots on. To the very end, continue doing what you love and have full power doing it. This is my aim. So I said, okay, yes. First time I'm the model of an old man. And talking of models, optimal performance, if we talk about that, what is optimal performance? First of all, I think it's very personal and it should be personal, your own thing. You shouldn't compare or have I must be like this, because reversing aging is about reducing stress, first of all. And if you have a model which is causing stress, you're not going to reverse aging. And I have here something as a model for many people when they get older and older and they think they should be something like this figure from the fairy tales. And you take a jump from this roof and try to fly flat on the ground. So he's a nice chap, but don't follow his suit. We can be ourselves. It's much better. Our people close to us, they will love us more if we are just what we are. But there are things that you can do to reverse aging, and I'm going to talk about my own experience. And I think you can, especially men, take some hints from there. And when I see YouTube videos of men who want to be as if they were young, they go to the gym 5 days a week and they run marathons and they pump this iron all the time. And I say, oh my God, why do you pump this iron? Because it's useless. And why don't you come and work at my farm? There's so much weed superfood to collect. Come there. Forget the gyms. And when I was young, I used to, that means 40 years ago, I ran half marathons under 2 hours, which is pretty good. And I broke both of my knees. I haven't been able to run after that. But that didn't stop me because I can walk. 20 kilometers a day is just nice. And with Johanna, we do trekking in Crete. So please join us. There might be some people who have been on these trekkings. And is Mauri here? How did you like it? He has been there. And so you can change something that you cannot do anymore for something else. About the optimal performance, I would like to talk that we have set forms. If you don't want to be Superman, you at least want to be normal. What is normal? Because I take my biohacking is to get a blood test every now and then because I have celiac disease and it requires following it. And then the nurse says, you have normal blood values, all of them. And she doesn't say it like this. She says, wow, you have normal values. And I say, why is it called normal if I'm in a small minority? And she says that you made my day. It's a long time since I saw somebody of your age to have normal blood values. Or I take one of these things to measure my body age or fat or whatever, and it shows that I'm in my 50s. Soon I'll be 68, so it's wrong. It's showing something else, and it also says normale. But I think the trick is that normal is so high that we are getting the message that you should take medicines for your cholesterol, blood pressure, or whatever. And you're hooked with medicines, and you are not reversing your aging. I'm an example that there is a chance to live without medicines. But where's the picture? Anyway, to be in nature is one of the things, and to eat from the nature. And you can not have many medicines with that. And fellow mates of me, like Teemu said in the presentation, that so many people are chronically ill. And what is normal? I think I can take this issue up because in the first dinner, somebody stood up and said that in the table we were discussing vividly the theme of expanded female orgasm. So I would like to take up the theme which is on many minds of elderly or getting old men. How is sex at the age of 68? Better than ever. Yeehaw! So you still have hope. Don't overdo it now because you can do it relaxed later and enjoyment. It gets better because you take burdens off you and it's role models or what you have to do or mustn't do or something what's expected from you. You just enjoy it. But you have to make some corrections if the little meter of biohacking down here gives you signals that you cannot neglect or fake. So it's going to tell you that there's something wrong here now if you don't get, for me, if I don't get 4 or 5 morning erections, there's something wrong with me if I don't get them. It's not just something you had in teenage. That's a piece of news. Or if I cannot carry on making love for more than an hour, that's a sign, biohacking sign, I have to do something. So I'm getting there. I will tell you what I'm going to do then. To keep all this up, for instance, if I don't do my things daily, I have no reading glasses I can see here, and some 20 years younger people ask me, could you see this little etiquette text with your better eyes? And I read it. But if I don't do these things I'm going to tell you, it goes like there. But it comes back when I practice something. I have some 5 words there on the slide that nobody else but me can see. And the first one is this attitude that you do your own thing, don't care about the rest. And yes, thank you. And Johanna had the same gratitude as the first one, if I remember right. And it's very important to have this gratitude, and this is my way of starting my day. I feel so good every morning because I'm healthy. I know not everybody's healthy, and I'm just so grateful for that because my body is my temple, and I respect it and cherish it, and it's holy for me. So another thing is that I need to be flexible. And I'm not talking about mindset now, but your body should be flexible. I will tell you a reason why in Finland you need to be flexible. Because we have 6 months of slippery roads and you have to learn this elephant walk. But one slip, if you are not quick enough to correct it, you're a goner if you break your hip. There's no way back from the hospital if you break your hip if you are over 65. They will keep you there and pump you with something and don't let you go anywhere anymore. I don't want that. So every morning I have a practice that will keep my hip moving, and you will see this tonight on the beach party. It's very important because it's also for the energy flow. Let's talk about that later, but it's very simple, like toothbrushing exercise. Every morning before getting up from bed, it's like extending the time of lying down. I do this exercise that open my hip with 3 dimensions, legs like this, and sideways, and this way. Because the hip moves in 3 directions, this would make a nice dance. To remember this. 20 times each. Then something I have done since the day or the time of my days when my son was born is over there looking elsewhere. Raise your hand. Yeah. I started to do Tibetan rites. How many of you are doing them? Johanna? Not too many. Please, Google it and do it, because I do it every day for 12 times. Somebody says that it needs to be 21. I do it 12 times. It doesn't take me more than 5 minutes. All of this I do every morning, and I stay like this, because 3 days I don't do the Tibetan rite. I can see it with my biohacking device eyes. It goes there. I start doing it and it comes here again. So I have been doing it from the late 80s. I think this is a major thing in my health, that I have constantly been doing it for 30 years. You're maybe in the age that I was then, so start it and don't ever stop. I repeat, don't start it and don't stop. And also, whenever I see steps, I jump them, I run them up, or I come them down like this, because this keeps my bone structure in health. And I love dancing, and I do things like this every morning. Yeah, enjoying it. It gives me joy of life. Like Johanna was talking about the same thing. And the big thing is to stay in nature, to eat natural food. This we have heard about. And just being in the nature will help you, like Johanna was bringing this up also. And if you see this, what is this? We were created to be pickers, not hunters, but pickers. Take your hand there and respect it. Do like this, because if you don't do anything with your hands, there's a signal to your brain that you are no good, you are not doing anything meaningful, and you start to degenerate. So you should do something, and the best one you can do is to pick herbs. Everybody has more or less herbs. Maybe some Sahara areas not, but maybe Mauri knows more about this. And eating things, and I have 12-hour break every day. If dinner is at 10, I eat breakfast at 10. This kills the Nazi bacteria, and I hate sweet things after that. It's a very simple trick. I'm sure you're aware of it. Yes. Biohacking Summit, excellent people here. Long hugs, which is good for oxytocin production. 20 seconds you must hug to get the oxytocin running. It's very good here. So, but there's one thing. There's so much research presented here that people may become research addicts. So you look for the research information, and I'm saying look for your intuition information. Trust yourself, put yourself on a balanced form, and you understand what's good for you, what's bad for you when you listen to yourself. And this was like Johanna's message, to do it with the help of the nature. So intuition, and then another important thing, a new attitude. You should have responsibility being a human being. Be human to other people and yourself. And cherish your body, your temple, and live a life that if you have a dream of a life, live it. Ask it from the universe to it become true, because I think life is a restaurant and you get what you order, and if you don't like onion rings, say it to the waiter of the universe. Make it specific. This is how I get things, and I'm so grateful for that. And enjoying things is being childish. Reversing age is childishness. I get younger every year, and I love playing with small children. It's so much fun. And be a teenager again. Do something which is forbidden. Trespass, like we do with my son. We go trespassing to a hole in the ice. We go like this, and we are not supposed to go there. From sauna in Helsinki. Don't tell anybody. and we swim and go back. We are heroes. So be a teenager, fall in love again. How it's possible, maybe just in secrecy, but do it. It's important. I have 3 seconds, so. But one more thing, even the time is finishing, that tonight there's dancing, tomorrow there's foraging, and trust yourself. Don't let the sun go down on you. So trust yourself. Believe you are going to be like this or whatever you want when you're old. So stand up and sing with us, because it's forbidden to play it on the stream. We'll cut if we use it.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I invite you all to stand up? We're going to have a very special ceremony right now. We're going to celebrate love, celebrate life, celebrate longevity with a man who knows what it's all about. Right.
Yes, let's
okay.
start.
Do we jump up and down? Yes. Fantastic. Okay.
And the song is I Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me.
Okay. Do we all know Nick Hayward in the audience? Who was alive in the 80s?
Yes.
I won't let the sun go down on me. I won't let the sun go down. Fantastic. More voices. I won't let the sun go down on me. Louder. I won't let the sun go down. Fantastic. One more time. Louder. Won't let the sun go down on me. I won't let the sun go down. I'm not going to do that. One more time. I won't let the sun go down on me. I won't let the sun go down. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a big round of applause. Yes.